This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and I'm going to talk a little WWE real quick before the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be watching Sunday. Can't wait to see how it all falls out. Thank you to everyone who watched the podcast. I really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who commented. Thanks for the support. And I just wanted to speak on my pick for the Royal Rumble, which was Roman Reigns. I feel like I need to clarify because I think some people might have taken me picking him a little personal, and I just wanted to try to explain why. Now, I mean, first of all, if you did take it personal or you had issues with my pick, I'm sorry. Wasn't intended to be that way. Secondly, you shouldn't be upset. You shouldn't find offense. You shouldn't feel as if you need to insult me for it. None of that's necessary. It's just my opinion. I don't know why people feel like when people give their opinions, they need to insult, to disagree. But hey, it's whatever, Anyway, so the reason I picked Roman Reigns is not because I have any love for him. I really don't. I'm not really a fan of Roman Reigns. Every now and then I see him do something that makes me say, okay, see, this is what you need to show the world that you got it, kid. But ultimately, I think that he's not ready for prime time. I think he's extremely raw. He's incredibly boring on the mic, and he is somewhat unbearable in the ring. His work ethic in the ring, at least from my perspective, is pretty atrocious. I mean, I'm not talking about his moves because, let's be real, most wrestlers tend to have a set amount of moves that they do to begin with. His thing is he doesn't know how to work beyond those moves where he can do something, and he doesn't necessarily have to do something demonstrative, but he doesn't work holds right to me. He just seems off. It's like he puts you in a side headlock and it doesn't even seem believable. It's just that it's hard to explain, but I'm sure someone who watched wrestling for a while and follow a lot of older wrestlers will understand what I'm saying. He just doesn't work a match very well. He tends to get carried a lot in his matches. So even though I feel that way, I understand that this is the person that Vince has pegged as the next big thing. This is the guy who he wants to give the mantle to. He fits the look that Vince likes. He fits the type of wrestling style that Vince likes. Vince likes big guys, big, good-looking guys who are powerful, good builds, and just have a air of charm about them. And Roman Reigns has that. It's like you look at this guy up and down, and he looks like he can be that type. The problem is, he just doesn't have the mic skills, and he's just not polished enough in the ring to be the top guy. But Vince really wants him to, and that's why you've been seeing this huge push behind him, seeing him get these opportunities that he's gotten over the years. I mean, my God, this man has had a title shot before. He's had a legitimate title shot before. I don't even think Dean Ambrose has had one. Anybody can remember Dean Ambrose ever really had a legitimate shot at the WWE title? Let me know. I remember Reigns was in that match where they were all going for the what's his name? The unification of the belts. But yeah, no, I don't think any of the other shows. I mean, Seth Rollins is about to, but I don't think before that any of them had really had a legit shot at the main title, or even when they were split at the world heavyweight title. You know what I mean? So this is what Vince wants, and I believe it's what Vince ultimately would get, and that's why I picked Roman Reigns. I think that he has the backing of the owner of the company, and that looms larger than anything else. Kind of like how when Batista came back last year and immediately got pushed to the top, won the Royal Rumble, and was at WrestleMania. That's because when Vince brought him back, he likes Batista. He set up this deal with Batista and gave Batista what he wants. Meanwhile, Daniel Bryan, who we all feel like is probably the most deserving, look how his story went. He came in last year. He had a shot at the title. He got it. Randy Orton cashed in on him, took it from him. Then he was pretty much out of the title picture for a while. He didn't get put into the Royal Rumble, which he should have been last year. It was given to Batista. All the meanwhile, the crowd's groaning like, yo, Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan, Daniel Bryan. But no, WWE tried their best to push Batista on it. Why? Because that's what Vince wanted. They tried and tried and tried. And ultimately, thankfully, Daniel Bryan, got the call because the crowd was just too, much. They just could not ignore what the WWE Universe wanted. This time around, I think that Vince is willing to ignore what the WWE Universe wants. And I think a lot of people would like to see Daniel Bryan repeat his rise and get his title shot because his injury kind of robbed him of it. Perfect scenario for Vince because he didn't have to live with giving the belt to someone who he really didn't back. Someone who I'm sure Triple H had no problem handing the title over because Triple H knows, to coin his phrase, what's best for business. Give the people what they want. Entertain them the way that they want to. Give them. That's how you entertain them and keep them engaged. You keep them happy. Triple H, I believe was more than happy having Daniel Bryan. That's why I like the whole Daniel Bryan versus Authority thing. Probably was like gold in Triple H's eyes because it just like helped propel that story even more and just make it more impactful when against all odds, taking out Batista, taking out Triple H, going to the title match, winning the title. It was just such a great huge epic moment. The huge epic moments that I grew up on watching WWE back in the 90s and things like that. In the 80s they had some of that, but it really took off in the 90s, especially with the Attitude Era. They just was like the king of epic moments. Now those epic moments aren't as huge, and it was just so when Daniel Bryan won, that was like one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It reaffirmed my love for wrestling. But unfortunately, I think that we've had that moment, and I don't think they're going to try to relive that moment again. If he did come back and win, it would be great because I think he would make better, compelling matchups. Even if it was Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, it would be a much more compelling, entertaining match than Roman Reigns versus John Cena, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins has some heat behind it because of their history, but again, Roman Reigns isn't polished enough to put on a good enough performance, not for a WrestleMania main event. But this is what Vince wants. I believe he wants this guy to be the next person to carry, the WWE banner, at least for a while, and he's been pushing him really hard, trying to get us to buy into it. And so far, we're not totally buying into it. Roman Reigns has a really good fan base, but I don't think it's strong enough. But Vince is trying to build that strength. That's why you have Roman Reigns doing these like pathetic promos that Vince are writing. You have him trying to, do just a little bit more in the ring. Now, they want you to believe this guy is over and he's the next thing, and he's not yet. He potentially could be, but as of now, he shouldn't get it. But I just feel like what Vince wants is what Vince is going to get, and that's why I picked Roman Reigns. Again, it's not for any love. I just feel like politics is what's going to play out into this one. If he does win, I just hope that we get another groundswell like we did for Daniel Bryan last year, and that the crowd, gets so loud that Vince can't ignore it and has to pull off something akin to what he did last year to, elevate Daniel Bryan or whoever else. I mean, there's other choices out there that you can push and elevate. You can push and elevate Bray Wyatt. You can push and elevate Dean Ambrose. I just don't think Reigns would make a good champion right now. But for better or for worse, it's what Vince wants. And again, Vince gets what he wants because he owns the company, damn it. So that's why I picked Roman Reigns. So don't get upset. Don't question my intelligence or anything like that. It's just, hey, that's just how WWE has been going lately. It's sad. It's pretty sad that's what happens. They just don't seem to understand their fan base anymore, and Vince has lost a lot of touch with what the product is that he's selling. Yes, I know it's more entertainment inclined. They're connected to a lot of different things outside of the ring, but ultimately it comes down to the heels and the heroes and what they're fighting for. What they're fighting for is the championships, and the championships have to have weight behind them, and your heroes and heels have to have some type of believability for it to work when they go against each other and when they capture these titles and things like that. It's kind of crazy, but hey, that's just how I feel. Anyway, you guys hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Megas, and I'm out. Deuces.